Yo, what's going on, everybody? We are back again with another Black Perspective. I'm sorry, bro. Sometimes you just gotta laugh in life. That's a little lesson for the day. Anyways, it is Sunday, April 26th, 2026, and today, guys, I have something a little different, right? I have some things that I wanted to talk about, actually. Some things that I feel like I would tell my 18-year-old self, or like 17 turning 18-year-old self. And I figured that I would, share this because I know there's a lot of teenagers that are out there trying to figure out what the hell am I supposed to do in life and blah 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 blah. Like, what am I like? How do I navigate all this and etc. etc. And especially since I have a little brother and I talk about stuff like this to him every now and again. I figured, why not do it on my own channel, right? So I'm not gonna have like the keys to life or anything, but I got a few points here that I've written down that I just wanted to talk about, right? So, if you're 18 or you're 17, 16, whatever, and you feel a little lost in life, right? And you're overwhelmed, which is normal, all right? Like the amount of pressure we place as a society on 18-year-olds is absolutely insane. Like, bro, I graduated. I had motherfuckers talking about, so what's next? Like 3 minutes after I graduated high school, and it's like, bro, I didn't even think I was gonna make it this far. Not on some like I'm stupid or whatever, but it's like you're like 16, 17, and high school feels like it takes forever, and then one day it's over. You know, so now you're like, damn, like what am I supposed to do? But with that all being said, it's time for us to get into it. So, one of the first things I really want to stress for every high school student or like middle school, like again, just for everyone listening, right? I think one of the biggest things you can do, and I mean this with all seriousness, right? Start saving slash investing early. All right. Now, I'm not a finance YouTuber, okay? I'm not going to sit here and tell you to invest in blank or buy shorts in Y or whatever the fuck. But what I mean by that is, start learning how to save some money early and, start buying some stocks here and there, right? Like, for example, like if you're working a part-time job, 'cause I know a lot of y'all most likely are, like I did when I turned 16. Like I've been working like ever since 16, basically, right? So I can tell you from experience, like I know a lot of younger folks are working, especially very early now. So if there's anything I can tell you, like you can divvy it up a few different ways, right? Like you can save like 10 or 20% of your check, right? Or you can have it like, I don't know, like you save $50 a check at least, right? And then you can just put it in a piggy bank or in a savings account. Ideally, well, if you're young, you most likely aren't gonna know like what all that like a high yield savings account and stuff like that is, and you might not even have a bank, right? So, you know, I know a lot of like younger folks that use like Cash App or PayPal or whatever. But ideally, you should get a bank. Ask your parents and go get yourself a bank account. If you're working, you might as well. Like, you got like literally nothing to lose, and that's like the quote unquote safest option for it. But like, yeah, you should be saving some money like every single paycheck while you have no bills. All right, and just save it. Don't touch it. Don't try to be like, oh, I'll just replace it. No, just save it. If you have to go into your savings, like, you're broke. Okay, like just let that shit sit there, and I promise you, like, you save like over the course of years and years and years, by the time you turn 18, 19, or whatever, you get ready to graduate high school, you're gonna be like, wow, you could probably buy a car, like your first like car. Like, it's not gonna be like a Tesla or nothing, but you could probably buy a car. or at the very least, it give you a good leg up to be able to maybe afford your first apartment or something, or maybe help you afford some college supplies if that's what you're trying to get into. And on the investing part, like I've recently have really gotten more serious about it. Like I've done it. Excuse me. I've done it like here and there, right? And like I use Robinhood, so just so you know what I do. And I've been investing in like I invest a little bit in Bitcoin, and that's like the only crypto I actually like would remotely trust. I invest a little bit in Bitcoin, then I invest in like VU. It's like the Fortune 500. I think I have some in like AMD and Nvidia. Like just investing in things that are fundamentally safe, so to speak, right? Things that I know are going to make a consistent, like slow profit over time type shit. And when it comes to investing, again, I'm not going to sit here and become a finance YouTuber and try to explain all the ups and downs. The easiest way I can say it is that, like, you buy a stock, or excuse me, you take some money, you buy some stock, and essentially you own that stock or whatever, quote unquote. And that stock can grow or shrink in value over time depending on how the market reacts, I guess. I'm trying to like give it a simplified version of it. But again, I think you should definitely do your own research. I'm not going to tell you what to invest in. All I'm going to say is, again, like, download it, give it a shot, throw like $5 there, buy a stock, and, and like just experiment, and stay away from the prediction markets. That's just gambling. That is literally just gambling. So I'm just telling you now. But yeah, that was the first thing. Just make sure you start saving and just consider trying to invest early, because trust me, bro, like I'm telling you, that money ain't doing no good just sitting in your account. You got to make it shake a little bit, if you guess my drill. Ooh, excuse me. There we go. I had some. Ugh, that was gross. Okay. The next thing I want to tell, the beautiful viewer watching this video is, just take it one day at a time. All right. I know that, especially like, 16, 17, like 18, like that teenage age, or even like if you're like me, like, in the 20s or whatever, some days, you just feel overwhelmed, right? Like we got all this nonsense going on, like politically, right? We got all this stuff going on with our own lives. We got just every day feels like something new, right? Like another news story or whatever. And honestly, all I can really tell you is that, everyone here, we're just trying our best. Everyone here is just trying our best to just, not lose our minds and just keep a roof over our heads. So, I just say, just take it one day at a time. Okay. There's no point in you trying to oh, excuse me. I don't know. Every time I record, like literally every single time, my body's like, oh, it's time to yawn 50 times after though we got 10 hours of sleep. But anyways, I'm sorry. Going back to what I said. Like, this life can be stressful. All right. There's a lot of shit that can happen. And honestly, like, you got to just take it one day at a time. And that's coming from a dude who literally, you know, like I had a falling out with my mom, right? Like that's one of the reasons I moved out. Well, I mean, I tried to move out a few times, but I moved out for realsies, finally, like I think like a year. So it was like October 2024, I think. Wow, it's been a while. It's almost been like 2 years. Wow. But like, yeah, that's like I moved out and like I'm experiencing adult life in its max difficulty type shit. And if it wasn't for Elizabeth, I don't know. I might not. I'm not gonna say I wouldn't be here like on this earth, but I don't know. I'd probably be in DC with my grandma. Honestly, I don't know. I don't even know if I would have started this. But like, yeah, like it's insane. Like the days pass by, you work, and then you're just trying to keep your bills paid, and you're trying to hang out with your friends here and there, blah 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 blah. But trust me, man, take it one day at a time, okay? And just take a deep breath and remember that tomorrow, while not guaranteed, is something to look forward to, right? You should enjoy and savor the day every single day, because hey, you never know. You don't want your life to just pass by you, type shit. But at the same time, there's nothing wrong with saying, hey, maybe like I can wait till tomorrow. Like one of the hardest terms I've ever heard is, can I wait till tomorrow? Because it's like, damn, it's kind of hard. It's like, and not in like a procrastinating, like, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. But like, there are some times it's like, listen, I just worked 8 hours. I just came from the laundromat. Fucking that pile of dishes can wait until tomorrow. Like, like sometimes you just got to sit here and say, I'll just do it tomorrow, because you got to have a balance in life. Take it one day at a time, breathe in, get some exercise in and all that shit, bro. Just try to laugh, be happy, just do the best you can at one day at a time. Because trust me, everyone on this earth is trying their best to just take it one day at a time these days. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, welcome. Excuse me. Welcome to the club. Welcome to the club, bro. Just take it one day at a time, breathe in, and just keep it pushing, my man. Cry it out if you need to. I'm 22. Bro, I've cried more times from the ages of 18 to 22, like that short 4 to 5 years, than I have like from 17 down. Like this, like this adult life shit, it'll chew you up and spit you out, bro. Like it will test your mettle, and everyone will say like, oh, strong or hard times create strong men or whatever the fuck. I don't really care about any of that. I'm just saying, bro, like. It can be something, all right? This adult life can be something. It can be overwhelming. It can be a lot. So please just take it one day at a time. Excuse me, I'm sorry, that's gross. Jesus, every single video. Well, at least it's not an AI bot recording these videos, right? Next thing I wanted to say is be very careful of predators, right? And I really wish I didn't have to include this in this video, right? But I think a lot of us can see for certain that, this is a very real threat, a very real thing to worry about, right? I think, a lot of us thought like, oh, people like this exist, but, not like everywhere. But I think now a lot of us are realizing that no, there are very scary and dangerous people who take advantage of young people all the time. So there's anything I can tell, especially like younger women too, like obviously, man, but like especially young women, like like super young, like 16, 17, 18, 19, 20s, like I listen, please keep yourself safe, okay? Like I can't even blame women for like packing like fucking knives and like pepper spray and shit, because bro, when I tell you that like if we're being real for a second, like the shit women be going through on average, right? Like it's crazy type shit. And again, I'm not trying to turn this into some man versus women debate or nothing like that. But like we're talking predators, like bro, like we got them Epstein files. Just like I don't even think I need to say anything besides that. Like come on, bro. Like you gotta be safe out here. Like dudes. And I'm not saying every man, right? But like dudes will like dead ass take advantage of you, bro. And that's why I be trying to tell all these girls, like all these women, I'm like, yeah, I get it. Like these dudes will try to take advantage of you. So please keep yourself safe. And when I say predators, I don't just mean like, sexual predators. I mean predators like fucking like like military recruiters, bro. Like fucking like people. Like when I say predators, I just mean older people with ill intentions, right? And you may wonder why I say that, but the reason I say that is because you may not realize it, and I mean this in the most non-gross ass way possible. There is no other noun that I can use to describe how society views 18-year-olds aside from the term fresh meat. Okay? And again, it makes me kind of vomit saying that, but like I'm just being real. Like when you turn 18 on, on average, like ideally, you have like, no credit history. So your credit score's like 500, most likely somewhere around there. Unless your parents have been doing some shit with your credit. Oh my god. Oh, excuse me. You just graduated high school, most likely, or you're getting ready to, right? Like you're legally of age, right? Quote unquote, which again, that makes my skin crawl. People are going to try to take advantage of that. You're naive and society tries to push it like, oh, you're 18, you're an adult now. And it's like, no, you are still a teenager. All right. Like I'm going on 23 and I still feel like I haven't gotten my shit together. I'm still trying to, figure out this life stuff just day by day. And I don't think anywhere near the same at 22 that I did at 18. So I can tell you without a doubt, like, I'm not trying to undermine you and say like, oh, you're just a fucking kid, like you're an idiot or nothing like that. But, I really want to make it like known, like stress it. Like when you turn 18, people are going to try to, tell you all these things and fill your head up and blah, 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 blah. But I promise you, bro, like you really got to cut through that noise, because if you don't, like, people are going to take advantage of you. Like military recruiters look at 18-year-olds as like literal, like perfect, like a fucking like free, like barbecue chicken, like 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 that's an easy layup. You got some guy or girl who doesn't know what they want to do with their life, and you're like, fuck it, we can probably get them to sign for the military. We give them all these little benefits and blah 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 blah. Or you might have like credit card companies that, when they leak your personal data and shit, and like credit card company gets hold of it and they send you offers in the mail like, hey, you're pre-approved so you can sign up for fucking our credit card service and get like a $800 limit or some shit like that, right? And you most likely don't know shit about credit. You're like I said, like 18, 17. The United States education system isn't exactly the best, right? So yeah, you got things like that. You got, again, colleges that'll try to sit here and try to take advantage of you. You got fucking university, no, excuse me. You have like loan companies like Sally Mae and stuff that will try to take advantage of you. Like, it's scary. Okay, and if you don't have parents or guidance, like you don't have like a lot of guidance in these fields, like kind of like how I have it, like it can be easy to fall into these pitfalls and these traps, but if there's any big piece of advice I can give to counter that, I say, if something doesn't feel right, like if you get that feeling in your gut, that that pit feeling and you're like, ugh, something about this just doesn't feel right, listen to it. Okay, because that's your conscience trying to tell you like, nah, bro, I don't agree with this. And if you don't agree with something, then you just gotta say, nah, bro, and say fuck that. So yeah, please be very careful of predators. If you feel uncomfortable or you feel like someone's trying to take advantage of you, there is absolutely nothing wrong with saying no and walking away, or hell, just walking away. Like, keep yourself safe. And I can't advise you to buy some sort of arms in order to protect yourself, but all I will say is I completely understand, male or female, if you keep like a switchblade in your purse or like in your fucking backpack, to like your work backpack. I need to buy a new work backpack, bro. But like, yeah, like excuse me. So yeah, that I just wanted to be very open with that, because we got some bona fide weirdos out here, and I really want you guys to stay safe. especially the very young, because the younger you are, the easier it is to manipulate you, because you're new, you don't know anything, you probably even have like some more naive tendencies when it comes to adults, all right? And if we're being real, bro, adults are literally just grown up kids. Like, that's it. Like, they're just big ass kids. That's it. But I want to move on because I feel like we've already covered enough of that. I'm going to do one more point and then I'm going to wrap it up because, like I said, I want to keep my videos a little bit shorter. So, to do it, or excuse me, if there is anything I can tell, like, anyone, but especially young kids, first off, please, for the love of God, get some good sleep. Bro, I've got fucking bags under my eyes from years of like sleep deprivation and probably some depression, if we're being honest. I don't know. But like, I've got bags under my eyes from like years of sleep deprivation, from like just staying up late, playing video games, getting poor sleep, not eating well and stuff like that. Listen, sleep is much more important than you realize. Like, nowadays, I usually go to bed by like, okay, if we're being honest, I try to aim to be asleep by 11 o'clock. Sometimes it's by 12, if we're being honest. But, ideally, the way I try to make it work is like by 10 o'clock, I'm off the game or whatever. By 10:30, I'm in bed. By 10:30, I need to be in bed, falling asleep. And by 11 o'clock, I need to be asleep, And, I wake up at like, well, I'm like, the latest is 7, but I try to aim for like 6:30. So like 6 to 7. 6, 7. I actually have a shirt that says 6, 7. I'm wearing it right now. I got it at Walmart, bro. But like, I try to aim for like 6 or 7 hours of sleep. At least, ideally, I want to get to 7 to 8, but I just, again, I gotta get stricter with my sleep schedule, bro. Like, I'm trying to tell you, like, build them habits up early, all right? Get some good sleep, because at the end of the day, you don't realize how much sleep affects you. Like, sleep affects your body so much. Like, it's literally just recharging your batteries, right? Like, if you got like an Xbox controller or some shit, and you can't just play. You can play. Actually, I guess that's a terrible analogy, because you can charge them for like 20 minutes and probably play with them a little bit. But like, you get what I'm saying, all right? Like, you don't want to be trying to get through a whole day on half a battery, Like, our human bodies are not meant for that shit, Like, you need to be getting at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep, ideally. I think you're supposed to get more. Like, I think it's supposed to be like anywhere from like 8 to 10 when you're like a youngin, a youngin, right? When you a kid. And then it's like, I think it's like 7 to 8 when you're like an adult. And then like, as you get like a little older, it can be like 6 hours of sleep. But I know not a coworker, but a dude who works at Dollar General that I live next to. He says he gets 10 hours of sleep, nothing more or less. And I respect that so much. But like, yeah. You don't realize how much sleep affects. Like, it affects so much about your body, your mood. Like, it literally can affect your gains, bro. Like, sleep is important, all right? And I'm not going to sit here and act like it's not. And I've gotten, like, ever since I've started sleeping better and, like, trying to be more consistent, like, typically my body can wake up on its own better. I can typically fall asleep a little bit easier, right? I usually have more energy. Like, I usually feel good, Like, there are so many benefits to just getting good sleep, and I promise you, you have so much difficulty just trying to get good sleep when you get older, right? When like you stress about things, or like you got work and stuff, and you can barely go into deep sleep because of the fear of waking up to your alarm, like, so get some good sleep, all right? Please, for the love of God, get some good sleep. Turn the game off, get off Instagram, turn off YouTube, whatever. Like, bro, that shit will be there tomorrow, I promise, all right? Get some sleep. Get some shut eye, put it in God's hands or the world's hands, whatever you believe in, and just, get some good sleep. And, like I said, the last thing is, start exercising and eating clean now. Okay. Like if you don't got no vegetables in your diet, if you not eating like whole meals type shit, like you're just fixing ramen noodles and party pizzas, like you got to get on top of that. All right. Like I'm just being honest. Like number one, home cooked meals are just so cozy. There's nothing better than just kind of eating a nice home cooked meal with like, your significant other, your family, and just sitting down at the table with like no phones or nothing. Like that, like, bro, like that shit's like a dream. Like that is time to connect and just like appreciate your like family and be able to eat good food. And like I really wish me and my family did that more often when we lived together. Like, even me and my girlfriend are trying to do that more. But just eat together and enjoy each other's company without any phones distractions type shit. But yeah, like just eating clean and exercising, like you don't gotta, again, you don't want to be pro or nothing, but I'm telling you, bro, like get some exercise and do some push-ups after you wake up and before you go to bed. Throw up some weights, maybe get a gym membership if you want, or hell, just bike around the city block, every now and again. Play some basketball, go out with your friends, skateboard, just be active, be physical somehow. All right, because it's so easy to just stay in the house and do nothing, bruh. It's so easy. All right. In fact, and with how expensive everything's getting, it can even be encouraged. Like, I want to look up some parks nearby for me and, my girlfriend to go visit so we can just sit there and just enjoy some nature type shit, because like it's insane. You sit here and you stay in the house all day and you're on the game all day, and sometimes you just got to get out, sit on your porch and just appreciate nature type shit. And, like I said, when it comes to exercising, just take it one day at a time. Take it one day at a time, start early, and remember, you can turn one day into day one by starting today type shit, all right? And that's really all I've got, I know this might have been a little, like, ranty-ish, a little like all over the place, but like I said, I promise it's not. I read these points down, and I really don't want to be yapping forever. Like I already see we're hitting 30 minutes, and like I try to keep these like I've been trying to hit like 20, but it feels like 30 minutes is like a sweet spot for me. So I guess I'll just stick to 30. I don't know, bruh. But like, yeah, that's really all I have. I hope that, some of the words that I've shared today will be of good use to someone out there. Even if I can just touch one person, pause, it sounds weird. Even if I could just touch one person with these words today, and help somebody, whether they're young or old, quote unquote, it would be a blessing, just to be able to just help somebody, or just, give someone a little bit of, I guess, an idea of what they can do with their lives, because, it can be hard to understand how half of this stuff works. It can be hard. So, yeah. Without any further ado, that is really all I've got for you guys today on YouTube. I hope you guys are having a good day. I hope you're having, a good time on this earth. I hope you're enjoying life. I hope that you're, spending time with family, friends, loved ones, I hope that, I hope that you, are just, like I said, just having fun and enjoying yourself. Because at the end of the day, we only are here for a little bit, We're, like, when you really think back on it, we really only stay on this earth for like such a short time that it's not even funny, bro. It's not even funny. That's why you really gotta appreciate this life shit, because if you don't, it'll pass you by, and like you can get hit by a car tomorrow and just get whacked, bro. And if that happens, like you're gonna be sitting there like, damn, like my life is really over type shit. Life can end in the blink of an eye, so make sure to appreciate it today, because you never know. With that being said, this was another Black Perspective. I hope you enjoyed it. Like, share, comment, subscribe, of course. I mean, tell your friends. Tell your friends about it type shit. That's that weekend right there. That's that tell your friends right there. That's beauty behind the madness right there. But yeah, anyways, without starting to become a little fangirl, I really hope that you guys are doing okay. Because on some real shit, like, you gotta take care of yourself, man. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to others type shit. I know it sounds like hippie talk, but, with how much stuff's going on, man, you realize, like, it really is just us out here. So, yeah. With that all being said, I appreciate all of y'all. I hope I was able to bring some entertainment, some laughs, or some wisdom today in your life. And yeah, with that all being said, I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.